Well, joining me now in the studio is also a young internet entrepreneur who actually also has his offices in the factory, Travis Todd from the United States. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, now you came here 7 years ago to start up a few internet businesses. Tell us a little bit about them and how it's going for you.
Yeah, I've worked in several startups and founded a few of my own. I'll just rattle off some names. One was called Buddy Beers, which was a social mobile beer giving app that we sold to a company in San Francisco. Another one was Toast, which was a social wish list application. And I've also founded a media company called Silicon Alley. And currently I'm working to bring a festival from the US, the world's crowdfunding festival, One Spark, to Berlin in September.
All right, so you've got a lot going on. What are some of the challenges that you're facing?
I think, one of the challenges in Berlin is always raising capital. It's still a really young ecosystem, so there's not a lot of access to money. But that's steadily changing. I think as more and more businesses are founded, more investors are hearing about Berlin as a startup ecosystem and investing their money here. And some companies are exiting and being able to reinvest in the system. So I think that's one thing. I think crowdfunding also provides a really interesting way for young businesses to get started.
Explain what that is, crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding is simply when fans or supporters of a project, or it can be even an artist or a restaurant, all chip in a small amount of money, and when thousands of people chip in a small amount of money, it raises a significant fund for that company and that business to get started. All
right, well, these businesses, though, do require quite a bit of capital, and you say that it's hard to find venture capitalists, so how are they operating?
There is definitely still some investment happening. Berlin is also a very inexpensive place to live, so their money that they do raise can go a long way, which is very helpful. I think one of the reasons that Berlin is such an attractive place to start a small business.
Because it's cheap here.
Yeah, it's cheap, and it's cheap, it's fun, there's a lot of young people, there's a lot of access to universities and talent, and it's just a really attractive place to live, and that's why you're seeing a lot of international people coming here and working in these small businesses. This is why we were able to convince the festival to come to Germany as its first international location as well. So I think they're scraping by, they're bootstrapping. There's still a bit of investment that's happening, and it's steadily growing. So.
Okay, now you say you came up with the term Silicon Alley, a play on, obviously, Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Would you say then Berlin is really the next Silicon Valley? Do people really see it that way?
Well, we tend to stay away from comparing it to Silicon Valley, because Silicon Valley will always be Silicon Valley, and nothing's going to change that. But if we look at Berlin as a great worldwide renowned technology hub, I think we're definitely on our way there. And I think, Berlin with its own character and its own personality is going to create a different kind of tech ecosystem than Silicon Valley. And, you're already seeing it with so many investments and so many new companies coming to Berlin, that I think we're really on a path to make it an outstanding worldwide tech hub. I heard that last year, more investment was made into technology than in real estate in Berlin, which is substantial for a city that has so many cranes and new buildings and things.
Right, and is it happening anywhere else in Germany, this startup boom?
I don't think it's happening on the same level. I think the spillover from Berlin is you're seeing a lot more people just looking at Germany as a whole in terms of young ideas and young companies. Hamburg and Munich also have a great tech scene. But nothing's really happening in Germany that's on the same scale as Berlin.
Okay, and would you say then, is this a risky business? Are we seeing a sort of tech bubble being created like the one we saw in the 90s in the US?
We won't know until the bubbles burst, I guess. But yeah, startups are always a risky endeavor. I think the great thing is you're seeing a lot of young businesses start and fail quickly, which is great and healthy for an ecosystem, because it helps some of the other businesses that are growing well kind of recruit really talented and experienced people who've been through the cycle, who know how to be innovative. And if they take the risk and they fail, then they move on to the next thing, and that's kind of what it's all about.
Okay, well, great. Thank you for talking with us today, Travis.
Thank you.
Good to have you on the show.